back with you guys for session 8 of the Cataclysm. As always, we've got our. Well, I need to start introducing myself. Hi, I'm Sia. I am the DM. Yeah, I can't. This entire time, I haven't actually introduced myself at all. I'm sitting there like, well, I probably need to do that.
You might want to
um,
do that at some point.
yep. So I'm considered myself a baby DM. I've only been doing this for um, probably since what 2003, 2023, 22. Think we said our last campaign was about 2 years long. So I'm just still a baby DM. Um, and I have fun.
2022.
I think it was 22. Uh, and as always, we have our two players, our combatants. In the right corner, we have Nightmare, who plays Namriel. Nightmare, say hi.
Hello. Hi.
And in the left corner, we have Wicked Arya, who plays Yabrana. Say hi, Wicked.
Evening. I said evening.
I heard. I heard.
That wasn't good enough.
It was fine. All right, so let's do a quick recap. Last time on D&D, Yabrana was absolutely discovered as she rescued what you now know was Barrett Falkreath. After some a nudge from Valen Falkreath, the younger knight, um, you guys managed to catch the mage Micah in a pincer attack where Yabrana tried to restrain him, wasn't needed as Namriel ran him through the heart. After a very tense minute of or two of standoff, you guys decided to go with Lord Falkreath after Yabrana laid it all out. She told him the exact truth, the exact reason why you're out there, laid it out, apologized for killing the mage, and Falkreath said, well, let's talk about it when we get to the house. Unfortunately, Yabrana had been bitten by a tick, and now she's on a very, very, very short timer before she is incapacitated for 24 hours. You guys get to the Lord's Manor, which is absolutely fucking huge. Meet the lady of the house, and minutes come in. Notice a weird dragon statue at the front. Also notice some other weird shit going on. Sent Alyssa to be escorted by knights and had a relatively decent sit down until Yabrana decided that she was going to resurrect Micah. The resurrected Micah let everybody know that his mistress was Mistress Ellie. He was supposed to kill you guys on sight as the dead body started to go a little wonky. Combination of 3 assaults, 1 fire from Lord Falkreath, the decapitation from Valen, and after a quick prayer to their god, a mysterious hole opened up and swallowed the reanimated body, decapitated head and all. As Lady Falkreath says, what the absolute fuck is going on? And that is where we start our game board. City of the game, the board is yours. Wicked, just a quick reminder, you have about 30 minutes before you go nighty-night.
Right.
To be fair, that last thing was probably my fault, but I don't want to get into that right now. I say as I look straight at Lady Falkreath.
Lady Falkreath throws up her hands and says, I don't know whether to thank you or to order you whipped. So I'm going to go with the median of the two and ask where the goddamn tea is. As she says that, the knight that brought in Mage Micah's body swiftly leaves the room.
Oh, I didn't do it.
Valen comes beside you, Yabrana, and sits down at the table. Puts his sword on it and kind of sits catty corner in the chair where he can see everybody in the room. So, what now?
I never got my answer about that damn dragon.
Understandable. This has come from Lady Falkreath as she slumps back in her chair.
I pointed her. I say, "Are you the progenitor, or is he?"
First roll of the night. Are you trying to intimidate or persuade?
I'm just asking a straight up fucking question.
Okay, so with no rolls to back you, she looks
I
at
will
you.
roll. I will roll persuasion if you'd like. That is the wrong character sheet. Whoops. Let me go ahead and enable these. What was my persuasion? That's an 11. Damn.
Lord Falkreath and Lady Falkreath both look over at you, and they do not recognize that word. They know what it means, but there's no. They're looking at you like you're a little crazy. There's no recognition of what that word means to them. Lady Falkreath looks at you and goes, "That's my family crest." I don't understand what you mean by progenitor.
That. This is a question to the DM.
Go ahead.
Is the progenitor thing the same in this one as it was last?
Okay, so if you guys don't mind, just a little side and a little backstory for those that weren't part of the last campaign, because we didn't put it on Discord, or YouTube, and we're doing it now. We didn't stream it. So in this world, you have dragons. The dragons separated themselves from the gods, so that way they didn't destroy the fucking planet. You know, both people, similar powers. They decided just to separate. The gods had everyday ruling, while there was one dragon, one of the original dragons that come in every color under the sun. There's only one beginning, or a progenitor, the first of their kind, the first of their color, the first of their type. The original first take turns sleeping, while only one is active on the planet Terra. They do their cycles. It's anywhere between 100, 200, 500 years. The current progenitor goes to sleep, and the next progenitor in the cycle wakes up to protect Terra, guide the Earth, do what needs doing, making sure that, the events that could have happened in the last campaign didn't. In this instance, all of the dragons that are progenitors are accounted for. That you know of. Now, you guys understand that the gods are gone, other than your two newly formed ones that you guys are champions of, that you accepted their championship of you. But you're the only two that
I'm
know
good, my
that.
love.
You have absolutely zero
We're
idea
playing BP.
about any of the kind of progenitors, what their status is, if they're even still alive or active. You have no idea. Namriel, your
Well, I know.
character would know about progenitors because you are dragonborn. Not only are you dragonborn, you're also the sun dragon lineage that we did for Nightmare at the end of the campaign.
Well, I only selected the Dragonborn because that was the closest thing I could get.
Right, and in this universe, that is the closest you can get to the progenitor that you once were in another campaign. So that's correct. You
But
know of them because you're dragonborn, and in a sense, each of the dragonborn know about their progenitors, and you still exist,
well,
which means that you
we
think
also cleared at the start that I was an actual
direct descendant.
full-blooded dragon. So
Yes, you do have that in your lineage. Absolutely, you are. So you know about them, and you still exist, which means in theory they still exist. But as of this moment in the campaign, you are unsure. Makes sense.
yeah,
Wicked, you get all that?
Yeah. Ugh. Excuse me. I
All right,
want
so the last thing that
cookies.
was said was Lady Falkreath said that she didn't understand what you meant by progenitor.
I wouldn't elaborate.
The message spell is
you
still
know what?
active, Wicked. Do you want to
I'll
say
let
that
that.
out loud or through the message spell?
Um, Fuck it. I'm socially awkward. I said it out loud.
Done.
You know what? I'll let it be a surprise to you later in the future.
I don't I don't think I can take any more surprises. As she says this, one of the servants come in uh with an elaborate tea cart. They roll it up beside Lady Falkreath and begin to serve her tea. It appears it is a full midday tea set.
I really, I really do so. I was like, never mind. I'm not going to do it. I was like, this could be really funny.
Go ahead.
So I'm literally about to pass out, right?
Yes.
No, because it could get somebody killed. I was like, 'cause here's what I was thinking: if I run up and I snatch the cup of tea and drink it, and then pass out. But then some poor servant would be blamed for poisoning. I was like, I'm not going to do it.
I'll be able to clear their names. So if you want to do that, you absolutely can.
Just having the thought made me giggle. I'm good.
Okay. The servant continues to pour
I
the
have a
tea.
feeling if I were to run towards anything, ugh. You can go ahead. Sorry, I was just
Not a
going.
problem. On the tea cart, there is an assortment of snacks and tea cakes and cute little petit fours. Um, Everything is just as grand as the marble room that you're standing in. It's got class and looks like it's got a lot of money behind it. The tea is served to Lady Falkreath and then Lord Falkreath as the servant brings down the rest of the tea cart and places it beside the table in front of you all and stands to the side.
Ugh, I might as well eat something so I don't starve while I'm passed out. I'm gonna take some of the like whatever.
There's a full array. There are sandwiches, sweets, tea.
I'm not gonna take anything, but I will be back here in just a second. I'm sorry.
I'll have a little of everything.
That's fun. There are small plates. You put a little bit of everything on your plate. And there is an empty teacup. Do you with the maid there to serve it?
Yes, I would like some tea as well, please.
She pours the tea for you and pushes the milk and sugar cubes closer to you.
I will use an exorbitant amount of milk and sugar.
The maid doesn't even twitch an eye. You have your snacks. You're beginning to feel the effects of the tick bite as you eat. You probably have about 10 minutes before you are completely
Leave my
healed.
dog alone. Okay.
Lady Falkreath looking calmer after she's had her tea. Sits the cup down gingerly on the side of her chair and looks over at the both of you. So we'll just wait till Lanny gets here so he can hear everything.
No worries.
Valen is also
I know I'm
beside
not
you.
going to be doing much of anything in a moment. Keep going. You were saying?
Valen is just helping himself to the tea cart as after you.
I think you cut out.
I said Valen was just using the tea cart after you, getting an array of snacks and tea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you cut out when I didn't hear that part, but thank you.
No worries. I hope our internet stays good.
Yeah, well, who knows? I'm very upset about it. I don't want to go back to Xfinity and pay $5 million.
No.
I think that's my kitchen ghost. Say it again.
I said no, I wouldn't want to either. And you tell Kitchen Ghost to be nice today. We got D&Ds.
No, the kitchen ghost doesn't care about that.
Nope.
Kitchen ghost is an asshole.
Yeah, but he's our kitchen ghost, so. How explain Kitchen Ghost to anybody that might be listening in the future, because this is gonna be funny.
They're a ghost that hangs out exclusively in my kitchen, that likes to mess with electronics.
And she's not kidding either.
Occasionally stand in the yes, they will occasionally stand in the hallway, like to where you can barely see like an outline or a shape, and my dogs will not bark. They will just stand at the door to the bedroom and slightly, like very lightly woof at it. And then every once in a while, the hallway light will turn off and on its own. And it's not bad wiring. We've already had that checked. It just likes to fuck with the lights. But it stays in the kitchen. It doesn't come down the hallway. It just exists. It's kitchen ghost.
And you guys might think she's full of shit, but she's not. She's a very nice kitchen ghost. Sometimes you can, if the stuff's messing up, you can ask them to please knock it off, and they'll do so. They don't scare off anybody else, and they haven't done anything like they just hang out and chill.
Yeah, no stuff on the floor, nothing broken. Just occasionally flicks lights in the hallway and messes with
Sorry for the delay.
phone calls and
Go
stuff.
get food.
You're good.
I am back, so if everyone is here.
Yep. Yabrana's eating snacks as Lady Falkreath sits on her tea set and looks over at the both of you and says, I have questions.
We may or may not have answers.
Fair enough.
350.
So, may I see, or do you have a contract about my daughter?
Did I bring a copy with me?
I don't remember you saying you stashed it anywhere, but I'm unsure. I'll have to go back and re-listen. But when you went to go help Barrett,
I don't remember. I would assume that would be like a normal thing, that each party would have a copy of said contractual obligations.
Yeah, you would have one, and so would Nightmare. And as a matter of fact, so does Alyssa.
Okay, so That's right, because she's named in the contract as well. Yeah, I'll produce my copy of the contract. I'll tell them that I need it back.
Valen looks at it and asks, "May I?" as he holds out his hand for your contract.
Say again?
Valen held out his hand and asked for you to hand him the contract.
I give it to him.
As you give it to him, he begins reading it as he pretty much sums it up for his mother. The deal is all there, laid out in ink and blood. How you agreed to produce Brianna, their soon to be leaving 18-year-old daughter, in exchange for Alyssa's servitude paperwork and the option to purchase after said transaction is done. He also goes over
Also, the removal.
say
Sorry.
again.
Also, the removal of the. Also, the removal of the bond
Yes,
on Alyssa. That's in mine.
that includes the part
And
about
all the no
release.
shady shit.
Yeah, it also includes the part about the release not being death, but an actual release of servitude and bondage. Absolutely. He also goes into
Yes,
detail.
very specific.
Yep. He also goes into detail about Nombriel's portion of the contract, where it goes in to replacing what you now understand is a keystone. The specifics of it, that it can't be a holy item. It has to have a certain magical flair to it, and the deadline of 3 months, which you guys are in 1, 2. You're in day 2, going into day 3 of the contract, by the way. As Valen finishes reading the contract, Yabrana, you begin to feel drowsy. Roll me a constitution save to try to stay awake for longer, please.
All right, give me 2 seconds. I'm in the kitchen doing kitchen stuff. I'm coming.
That is an absolute save. You gain an extra 10 minutes.
Nice. Awesome.
Lady Falkreath looks over at Valen. Is there anything else in there? Valen looks down and goes, "No, that's about what it says." It looks like it was written in haste. I don't notice any of the normal legal trickeries or vagueness that would usually be in something like that. How did you manage to get such a rushed contract?
I guess she just slapped my face.
Lady Falkreath looks at you and
No, but for real, I was
raises an eyebrow.
specific.
I can see.
I was specific.
However, there's not that much
I didn't want to.
on Namriel, is it? There's not that much about your side other than you must procure it and bring it back within 3 months. Did you not negotiate any other factors, or is that just it?
No, that's all I really cared for.
Sorry, guys.
Well, that and having a permanent key to the keystone from then on.
Don't die.
I'm not gonna die, but I do have to step away for a second. Woo.
Where are all my stupid measuring cups?
I don't know what that was. Holy cat. Sorry. So sorry about that. really need to put a touch to talk on there. Lady Falkreath nods and waits for Valen to bring her the contract, which she does as she places it to the side, glances up and down as she's looking at you. She said, "That was actually quite brilliant. I can see from the terms that you negotiated that you're not a bad person, and you were trying your best to make sure that everybody got out at least alive. So I can't fault you for making the contract. In their situation, I probably would have done the same. However, with the death of Micah, we only have a limited time to get this done. You've accidentally started a timer that I can't stop."
Well, I would like to say that had we been given slightly more information, it might not have gone down the way that it did. But unfortunately, as I stare at Valen, we weren't very well informed. There's a big piece of paper I gave you, buddy.
Valen in turn blushes as he says, I'm not sure what we messed up, but all I knew is that I saw him being weird before the bear started attacking. So then I knew that we had a traitor. I didn't understand. Speaking of, why is this such a big deal? I mean, he's looking at his mom. His mom turns down and looks at him and goes, "Son, sometimes it's better to know where the spider is in your room than not know where it is at all. If you know one's there and you can't see it, you go hunting all around the place looking for the damn thing. And of course, spiders are good at hiding."
Yeah, they are.
So, now that Micah is dead, right after he tried to kill your father, pretty sure that Ellie is going to put 1 and 1 together to equal 2. Which means the plan that we had for my daughter to infiltrate the brothel is ruined. The plans we
But
had...
it's not.
Explain.
It's not ruined. It's not ruined. I could have gotten to her before Micah's death.
Continue.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know that we killed Micah. She thinks your soldiers killed Micah. We could have already been gone wherever your daughter is, trying to get our hands on her. She doesn't know that we interacted with y'all at all, unless you have other spiders in the court.
That was the only one that we were sure of. But the legions are mine. All under blood oath fealty. They won't fealty. They won't, or rather, can't. You know, your idea might just have merit. So, smart dwarf, how would you spin this situation to your benefit?
Well, you need her to infiltrate, so you need somebody to deliver her without suspicion. That would be me. As long as she doesn't have anybody else. Because if she has other people, that got a good look at me, then that might throw a wrench. But it's possible nobody but the 6 guards in the campsite saw my full face.
And what of your little songbird?
So we could. Who, Alyssa?
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot about her. Because she'll tell. She's blood obligated to.
What if
Was
we
she
found a
close
way to
enough?
circumvent the blood oath?
Oh, what if she wasn't close enough to hear that the guy's name was Micah? Or we could try and circumvent the blood oath, but I don't feel like letting my blood boil off of my body from the inside.
That's why we think about it for a while before we try anything. I mean, hell, I've heard stories about people bypassing blood oaths. I don't know
I'm
exactly
contractually
how.
obligated. Yeah, maybe. Sorry, I'm thinking at the same time you're talking. I apologize.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
Well, I had an idea. She said she would wait an hour, right? Before she made any kind of communication with Ellie.
That is correct.
But I can't interfere with her ability to communicate. But can somebody else? So I assume she's got like a sending stone or something.
Well, if it's as simple as a sending stone, just take it away from her.
Yeah, because then she would have to physically meet with somebody to spill the tea. Or we could
She
put on a little
can't
show.
even communicate with a sending stone.
Oh, well, there's no telling what kind of sending stone thing that they could have rigged up for her. But we could put on a show. Now I'm going to be incapacitated here real soon. We could actually kidnap your daughter and make a run for it. We weren't exactly brought here under the most friendliest of circumstances. We weren't injured, but we're not pals. So it's not like, she hasn't seen your discussion with us. She knows nothing about the timeline or anything like that because we made her stay outside. We could pretend that it's dangerous and we can make a run for it.
Yes, but you could do that without my daughter.
Just saying. I don't know. Yeah, but I need your daughter. That's the thing.
Not for another 2
I need her,
months
and you need her.
27 days.
Ma'am, you literally just said we don't have time.
I thought we didn't have time if the assault was going to go off tomorrow. If you can manage it to where you can buy me that time, it would be well worth it.
So we would need a plan.
And fast.
And I'm about to be out. So
for the sake of us making this plan, I suggest the following. We will incapacitate Alyssa for 24 hours. It can be extended for
Okie
another
dokie.
24 to 48. I have a sleeping draught. It
So
won't
at
harm
most
her in any other
72.
way, but it will knock her out. She
I have
can't
to
make
worry
a
about my
report
phone.
if she's not conscious.
That's true.
And then I understand that.
I mean,
Go ahead.
no, I wasn't gonna say anything. I mean, like I say, I mean
Oh.
out loud and just shrug my shoulders.
Also, you are both in a precarious position. I don't know you. You don't know me. And the only thing I do know about you is that you killed Micah and you have a contract out on my daughter.
Well, I have a ethically sourced contract out on your daughter to the best of my ability. Like, it's not 100%, but it's the best I could do in said situation. I have lost my phone somewhere. Sorry. I mean, would you rather me have not said anything at all and just showed up and snatched her up and said, haha, fuck you?
No, to be honest, if we can get this to work right, this will give me the time that I
Exactly.
need.
Excellent. So let's figure out how to make it work right. There's my fucking phone. Found it.
I, Lady Falkreath, give you both sanctuary in my home not to exceed 72 hours. If you leave the premises without my consent, that sanctuary is revoked. Do you understand?
What if we're kidnapped?
That does not count.
Okay.
If you are forcibly removed,
I'm
it
all
does
about
not
the
count.
specifics.
72-hour
Okay,
sanctuary.
fabulous.
That'll give us time. I can keep Alyssa under for at least 48 hours of that. That will allow you to do whatever you're about to do. As she looks over at Namriel and goes, "Do you accept?"
Yeah.
Wonderful. She waves
Charlie, you
the
dead?
she waves
Okay,
the
no.
servant over and whispers into her ear a few seconds as the servant takes a bell out of their pocket and rings it. As she does so, all of the retainers come pouring back into the room. Lady Falkreath looks over them all and says, "There are 3 people that have sanctuary of my home. They are to be watched at all times. Please prepare appropriate rooms for 2 of them and prepare the medical chamber for the 3rd." She passes a vial from her pocket to one of the closest maid as the maid goes and grabs it. As she says, "Put this in water and give it to the servant girl Alyssa. Make sure she is taken to the medical ward. Tell the doctor she is to be dosed every 12 up to 48 hours." The servant nods and leaves the room. Another servant bows and says, "I'll escort you to your rooms."
Sounds good.
Valen stands up from where he was catty cornered, still splattered in Micah's blood as he holds out his hand for you.
I take it.
Namriel, the servant that is in front of you, bows deeply and says, "Sir, if you will," and begins to walk out as the other servants part for you both, all 4 of you, to leave the room.
I follow. No hesitation.
Okay.
Come
So
on,
I'm
Jake.
gonna go ahead and move you guys through, but I'll move your tokens here in just a second. You guys
All right.
come out and come back down the stairs. So we're going to move this token as they take you through the doors to the left. And the servant shows you that this is the kitchen area. They let you know where the food is stored, where everything is kept, where you can come in and get snacks. Just treating you guys like the guests you are. As she brings you back up and around, she shows you to a bedroom that has 2 beds and says, "These will be your chambers while you stay here." She opens the door. You guys notice that
Sweet.
there are
Because
two cots. The room is rather well furnished. It's not elaborate. It just looks like servants' quarters. As Valen goes into the room first, you can assume he's checking it for danger.
I would hope we wouldn't run into any danger.
I mean, I
Well, we
doubt
guess.
she'd do us like that.
Do you guys say that out loud?
Yeah, I do.
Valen turns around and chuckles and goes,
Yeah.
"Sorry, it's habit. Long story. This mansion is secured and has been. It's just the laws of chivalry are ingrained in me. My apologies." He still does a
No
thorough
worries.
check of the room before he steps out, as he says, "You are allowed to go anywhere that you would like on the first floor. The second floor is off limits except by explicit invitation of either Barrett, myself, my sister Brianna, or my mom or my father." You guys get it?
Yep, I got you. But I got a question. What is on the second floor?
In the upper library and our sleeping quarters. It's the family
Ooh,
wing.
library.
I was thinking the same thing.
We have a
Ooh,
public we
library.
have a library on the first floor that's available for guests. But again, the second floor is off limits except by explicit invitation of the family members.
Um, yeah, on the first floor ain't gonna have anything interesting.
It might. You don't know that.
I'll give it a check.
I need a Constitution saving throw from fail mid sentence. You fall to the
Ouch.
ground. Fall. You have to
Oh
Dude, I'm
my.
not catching her. The fuck?
Valen, however, does. Let's see if he can. Um, catches you, but awkwardly. You could tell that he's not used to someone of a smaller size than him. As he lifts you up and pushes you on the bed, not in a weird way, not in a weird way, as they take the covers from the foot of the bed and lightly cover you over.
There's a lot of weird shit in this world.
Valen looks up. Do you see that loud?
Yup.
He says, "Yeah. Yeah, there is. I never in my entire life expected to see a rabid bear. I never in my entire life expected to see my dad kill said bear. I never expected to see somebody I didn't know kill my brother from certain death. Yes, I will 110% agree with that statement. And I evidently need a nap."
Have you seen a full-blooded dragon yet?
Looks so cute.
Valen looks at you and scoffs. You know as well as I do that there haven't been a real life dragon anywhere in decades.
Same shape.
What?
Sorry.
Change. Shape.
Come here, Jake. It's time for your lotion.
You
buddy.
I'm becoming a dragon for a millisecond.
There you go,
Do
buddy.
you take on the form or the image? Because there's a very distinct.
Puffs.
There's a very.
I take on. I am going to like kind of separate us into a different little area, kind of like what you would see when you call on the progenitor, so that only he can see and feel the sun dragon
Okay, no, that's absolutely
that my character is.
no, that's absolutely fine. That
Yes.
has to do with your partner, but I do need to make an Arcana check, please.
That's a 13.
Enough to give him a psychic vision of what you're speaking of. Is that agreeable?
Yeah.
Okay, so
You don't
what
want
does your
any
dragon
lotion?
form look like? Let us know.
It okay, so it's shining. Not as bright as the sun, but it has the same glow and color that the sun has. There are spikes all the way up and down its tail with small like small orange wisps coming off of it every now and then.
Okay.
The eyes are like a golden yellow almost. And that's all I can really think of. I'll add more to it later.
Yeah, not a problem.
That's all I can come up with at the moment.
So you project at Valen, and Valen is receptive. And they get a look of your dragon form as they are instantly I'm not gonna say stunned, but
Shocked or surprised.
that's part of it. It's definitely part of it. As they shake off the vision and look you in the eyes and goes, yeah, some really weird fucking shit's going on in this world. I would agree. As he bows at the waist and goes to stumble away. You shook him. That's visibly evident. Now, now, Nightmare, you have about 24 hours before your Brana wakes up. There is a UNC in this, their first floor of this mansion.
I'm going to the library.
I assume that would be what you would do. So I want to need you to make sure that you move your character. Just note that there's going to be a servant on you the entire time that you move about, anytime that you're not in the room.
All right, that's fine.
While you were sleeping, kind of, you have a dream. So as Nightmare's exploring, I want to have you do a couple of rolls here and there, and then we'll tag you into your dreamscape. Okay. All right. So you're Brana, as you
Sounds good.
And you go into and you begin to dream. You dream of your regional home, the home you grew up in as a child. And I'm assuming as a dwarf, you would have grown up in the mountains in the caves, yes?
I'm trying to remember. I'm Circle of the Moon Druid. I left when I was younger, and I basically roamed the forest for the majority of my lifetime, looking for Mariar, or what it is, who it is, any information that I could find out about it. I was basically sent out into the world. Let's see. I'm trying to remember exactly where I was at. It looks like it didn't save any of my bio information that I put in.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, because
That is
I put a
just
lot of
wonderful.
information in there. Sad face. Yep,
Okay.
there's nothing there. Oh well, but yeah, that's what it was.
Well, this is going to be to give you a
I was trying to
timeline
solve the
about.
mystery myself.
All right, so give you a timeline about where you're back. I'm assuming that you learned about Mariar when you were rather young. That would explain why you left.
Yeah, I
As
found a book with just one word written in it.
okay, so
It was like somebody started to write information down and they wrote a name or what I think is a name and nothing else. The pen just stops.
okay, so we're going to take you back
So I was
to
curious.
the day that you found that writing. So you would have been with your parents in a mountain somewhere. I'm assuming because they're dwarves. So
I
while
was a
we're
studier. I was in the library.
that'll work. So while I move Nightmare
Sorry, I'm not.
no,
I'm
do
just
do.
trying to remember what I wrote.
And we'll give you that time to remember, so that way we could so that way you can role play it and set it up how you found it, what started this whole Mariar obsession with you. Uh, Namriel.
This is the library over here.
Yes.
Is that the library or is it? Okay,
Yep. And let me go ahead and
cool.
clear everybody off that doesn't need to be in there. Apologies, a little bit of
Then I'm
DMC.
gonna go ahead and take my character to the door.
Okay. As you come through the door that you came out of, you know that the kitchen is down to your south. And you come into the main dining hall. Now there are fires going in both sets of fireplaces as it is turned full night. Um, you can see that the tables have been cleaned, the floor has been cleaned. Uh, there is two statues of knights in full armor in the room. The room is very comfortable. You can tell that the grand doors are open to the south, leading back out to the dragon statue. And you see a door all the way to the east, another door to the southeast, and the servant is following behind you calmly. They're showing no signs of distress or even upset at being out wandering around the house this late because it's definitely past dark.
I'm just gonna squeeze my way past everyone and just keep on walking.
That's fine. I gotta disperse everybody anyway. You get to the doors. There is no lock. It is unlocked.
Open it and walk into it.
As you open it, you notice that there are four people plus your maid following behind you. So there are six people total in the room. There are multiple shelves of books. The floor is looks like it's a hand stained, some kind of pine. It gives off that pine wood scent. The smell of books is rich in this room. The bindings of leather, paper, the glue, the ink. It's a very distinct smell. As you walk into the room, the two knights and the two servants stop what they're doing, bow, and begin to leave. Two of them walk up the stairs that go up to the back. The two knights do. The other two servants leave out of a side door to the back. Now it is only you and the maid that is following you in the room.
I'm just look around in here, see if there's any books that pique
Give me a perception check since you're just looking around to see if anything catches your eye.
my. Oof.
Books are pretty. The spines are colorful. Some of them aren't written in common. At a glance, any draconic, but most of them.
Oh, I forgot. I'm also looking for any that would happen to be written in Infernal.
Unfortunately, with your perception, you'd have to check each and every single bookshelf.
Okay, we'll do it. I'm gonna start with this one right here.
Okay, that bookshelf has 3 sides. Give me inspection and investigation checks, please.
3 investigations. First 2 rolls were pretty good.
Okay, so you're only checking for books that were written in Infernal.
I'm still looking for anything that anything regarding dragons, the previous gods, hell, even magic items. I'm looking for that, as well as books in Infernal.
Okay, so on this shelf, you don't see anything that is about Infernal or written in Infernal. You do see that on languages. By in French, it
I'm gonna
might have
take
something
that.
Infernal in it. Um,
I know Infernal, so
other than that,
I'm
you don't
good.
see anything about the other related topics that you are looking for.
All right. I'm gonna go to this one.
Okay, that bookshelf has 2 sides, or rather 3 again. So roll me 3. That is 2 nats. You look at the bookshelf. Unfortunately, there's nothing written in Infernal, but you do find 2 other gems. One is a Draconic history, and the other
I'm gonna
one,
snag that up.
is a current history.
I'm also gonna snag that up.
Okay. So with 3 books, your hands are rather full. This is for you to sit down and peruse these books. Look at another shelf. Do you want to go ahead and get to reading? Would you like to explore the room
Uh,
some more?
I turn to the attendant or the person that's following me, and I say, "Hey, can you hold these for just a little bit? I'm gonna take all of them back to my room and look over them. I'll bring them back in here afterwards. No problem. But I want to keep looking around to see if there's anything else that I might like to read."
The maid nods and holds out her hand for the books.
I gently set all 3 books in her hands.
Okay, your hands are now free.
I'm gonna go over here.
Okay, so that one has 2 sides. So go ahead and give me 2.
Okay. Oh, I just used up all of my luck.
Probably. On this shelf, you don't see much that sparks your interest. However, there is a child's fairy tale book that has a very colorful
Hmm.
dragon on the spine.
I might come back for that one. I'm gonna go over here to this one now.
Okay, that one has 2 sides. Give me another 2.
Oh yeah, no, I used up all my luck.
But you read around, you don't see anything else pertaining to dragons or history or infernal.
All right, and then we have these 2 right here.
Okay, give me the rolls for them.
Oh,
Okay, so as you're perusing this bookshelf, do me a favor and roll me a D100, please.
It's a 57.
You find a book pertaining to magic.
I'm definitely snagging that up. You must be crazy if you don't think I'm gonna take some time and learn what I can. I'm being thorough this time around. Alright, I'm gonna come over here to these two. Two 11s.
Okay, what is your passive perception?
13, I think. Yeah.
You are close to a window as you hear. You can look out and you can see that it's to a well lit patio. There is a statue outside, and beside that statue are two posted guards. They're talking in lowered voices. You can just make out that they're talking, but not what they're talking about.
Can I try and focus and hear it?
Yeah. Survival check.
I don't even know where survival is. That's a 13.
That is good enough to overhear what they're chatting about, even though their voices are low. Um, it seems that they are in a discussion about the statue that they are protecting. They're not sure why they were posted to guard the statue, but they were told not to leave it until their guests leave.
What does the statue look like?
Very interesting that you ask. You can move a little bit to get a closer look out the window. You can do this covertly, or you can do it just like you're, checking the place out. How would you like to proceed?
I'm gonna do it like I'm still looking through the bookshelf.
Okay. So we're gonna do a simple self check to see how much the maid notices that you're, paying attention.
That's 19.
That is fantastic. You are the epitome of nonchalance. You are, it appears to the maid that you are studying the bookshelf, and when in reality you are sending death glares at the window to the statue. The statue is odd. The statue is very odd because normally statues, especially of knights or what you think is a knight, upon closer inspection, is a bard. The statue is also not of a male, but of a female tiefling. The horns are odd. They're not normal tiefling horns, and one is broken. It looks like they're deer antlers instead of horns that you would expect on a tiefling. Also, who would imagine a tiefling holding a lyre?
This sounds a lot like. I'm gonna keep that thought to myself for the moment.
As you're looking out, you overhear the guards say a couple other things, but we'll get to you in just a second. Ibrana, you're back in your childhood home. You're studying, doing what you normally do. So, how do you find what you find? Take us through that day. You're reliving it as your character. What do you do?
I was in the library and just looking through a bunch of old tomes. Gosh, it's been so long ago now, I almost don't remember what specific information I was looking for. Like maybe I was just reading old books for fun. I'm not 100%. And I came across this tome of unsung heroes, basically, I think is what it was. And it had all of these names of people that had huge impacts on our village, on our people. heck, even the world, but people that weren't really acknowledged for their help in the story, whether it was covert or coerced, or they just didn't want any acknowledgement for the part that they played and the way that things turned out. And like there was really great information in there, information from long ago, like hell, even 2,000 years ago. It was just so much information in there about different people. And I came to a page that had a name or a word. I don't know if it's a name. I assume it's a name because it's a book of names. It's a book of people, right? And it just had one word. It just said Mariar. But then it's like they were writing it down, and you know how when you write something but you change your mind, how the pen kind of just breaks off? That's what I saw, and it got me to thinking, and I was a curious kid. So I started asking around because there's a name in a book, but there's no information.
Who did you ask first?
I believe I asked the library attendant first. She was the closest, made the most sense.
Can I interject a little piece into your story for just a second?
Yeah, whatever you want.
So when you show this to the librarian and you ask about the name, something very strange happens. The librarian doesn't see a name. She doesn't see anything on that page.
Oh, interesting. I'm listening. Keep going.
She doesn't see anything on the page.
She doesn't see anything on the page.
Hold on a second.
Hold on a second.
I ain't got sugar-free brownies.
I ain't got sugar-free brownies.
Thank you,
I'm gonna
Gigi.
die. Thank you, Gigi. You're welcome.
Hot.
Son of a bitch, I twisted my foot.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Lucky motherfucker.
It's some
Oh
more.
my god, they
No.
taste amazing.
Shut it.
I feel the
Shut up.
free.
Do you know how hard it was to find stuff for sugar-free brownies?
Aria, not to be biased, but I think that just earned you a DM inspiration roll.
Well, it is kind of cheating because you live in my house.
Yep. So I have to apply it to both of you, so you both get a DM inspiration roll because these are amazing.
I'll take the free D20, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That roll will save my ass here soon. So,
Probably.
with how I'm rolling now, yeah, probably.
All right, Urano. So you take it to the librarian.
Hot brownies.
They don't see anything. What do you do next?
I guess my next step would be, as a curious, precocious child, would be, are you fucking serious? It's right there.
The librarian is adamant. They don't see anything. They don't know what you're talking about. And they're getting a little concerned.
Do you know anybody that might know anything about shit people can't read in books?
The librarian is concerned and tells you, why don't you go ask your parents?
Okay. Fucking weirdo. I say under my breath as I walk away.
All right. So now we know where you're at in that story. Let's go back to Nightmare. I'm sorry, let's go back to Namriel. And Namriel, as you're perusing through the books, you still don't find
You're a
anything.
cutie.
But you overhear the guards saying again, they don't understand why it's this particular statue they have to guard. They're a little pissed about it. And you can tell that the orders came straight from Lord Barrett, from his sickbed.
Hmm. I'm gonna linger for just another second and see if they say anything else about it.
They complain about how hard it is to stand on their feet. They complain that they've got a whole another 7 hours to their shift. And they start complaining about the pay. And they start complaining about the food. And they start complaining about they'd rather be at the brothel.
Hmm. Alright, well, I guess that's that. I'm gonna go back to, guess I'm just gonna go back to my room at this point.
As you get closer to the maid, she stops you by holding out a hand. That's not holding the books.
Yes.
Sir, if I may, there is a study lounge in the room beside us if you would rather read there with the light and not disturb your companion who's sleeping.
Actually, that might be a better idea.
I'll show you, sir. This way.
Alright.
She brings you to the door of the room and swings it open, and inside you see an elaborately furnished office. There is a red chase lounge. There are more library books lined up behind it. There's a chess set with what looks like a game already in progress, and a table that has what appears to be some kind of an elaborate coffee set, maybe? I'm not quite sure.
Hmm.
Hey, buddy. Who's your good buddy?
Interesting. Alright. Where to sit at, though? Guess I'm just gonna sit right here and start reading through the books. I'm gonna start with the one about I'm just gonna start with the big history one first.
Okay.
Figure out what all's going on in the world.
All right, you do that. That's not a problem. But I have to take a really quick step away. So while I'm gone, we'll come back and we'll be with Wicked, but Nightmare. What I want you to do is I want you to do me a couple of rolls. I want you to do me an active perception check.
18.
Very good. Keep that in mind, and I'll be right back in just a minute.
Okay. She said a couple of rolls. I thought I was fixing to make like 3 or 4. She out here scaring me for no damn reason. He's angry.
He's just a little butthole because he's dumb. He can't help it. He can't help it. He just gets startled easily.
He's so
can't help it. He's so
angry.
dumb. Not angry, just dumb. And then Ty can't see, so he doesn't know what Jake's barking at. So then Ty
He'll
starts
start
barking.
barking. I know exactly how that feels.
Yep, Tiberius can't see anymore. He's gone blind because he's old man.
How old is he? I think he might almost be as old as me.
I think he's 16,
Yeah, he's
maybe
like
16 and a half.
I'm gonna be
What are
18 in
you
a
looking
couple of
at?
months, so yeah, he is almost as old as me. Damn,
Yep, he's old man.
that's so
He's just
weird.
waking up every day to eat bacon. That's all he
Okay.
wants. Well, no, he eats a dog food too, but
All right. Numriel,
he's an old man. He's a
Welcome
good
back.
old man.
thank you. Because also we've had a viewer for a while, and I just haven't been able to say hi yet. Hi, viewer.
That's fine.
Yes,
Hi.
say hi to our viewer.
Hello.
I did notice you. I'm so sorry. It still doesn't tell me who my viewer is, but hi, welcome to the stream. Numriel, uh,
Hit me.
that is a very good perception check. And you notice that this room is about 10 degrees colder than the library was.
Love you, my love.
So, and you read the histories. That's going to take a minute. Yabrona, how did your parents react when you showed them the book? Did they believe
Um,
you? Were they sympathetic? Did they not believe you? Were they dicks to you? What happened? You take it home and you're like, "Hey, here's this thing. What happened?"
they immediately took me to see the elder.
And how did they react?
They dismissed my parents from the room and asked me some questions about the book, what I could see, what I could actually read. Wanted to know where I found the book.
And
And
are you
seemed
honest?
very, of course, he seemed very nonchalant though. Just like curious, just asking questions.
Okay, so they're done asking you all the questions. What do they do?
Well, they tell me basically that I was crazy and there was nothing there. Maybe the book is bewitched in some way and I've touched it. And now that I'm hallucinating, they take the book and cast it into the fireplace.
What happens to the book?
It doesn't burn right away. It kind of sits there on the flames for a moment to the point where you can see that the elder is getting concerned. And then as the binding of the book starts to melt, it's not even on fire, it's just melting into a goo. The elder gets up like he's gonna poke it with the fireplace poker, like flip it open, expose the pages. It erupts into this green flame that, from a child's perspective, looks like it went all the way up the chimney and may have even been visible from outside of the building. And then the book is gone, and all that's left is the black and green goo from where the cover had began to melt. The elder straightened his robes poked at the kind of suspiciously, and then
Understandably.
sat back down and told me that it was definitely a Blitch book and that I should start feeling better and to forget anything that I had read in it and sent me back home with my parents.
Okay. So that's where you're at in your dreamscape. You're reliving this just like you did when you were a child. Fast forward for me about 5 years, and we'll come right back to you. Numriel, it's been a couple hours. The book on history is riveting. It goes past 100 years, so you get a better understanding of the racial, political, and economic as it is past and present. Uh, you know, um, small because every time they get bigger, say with a population of over 200, something tragically happens to that town slash village slash city. And it's different stuff every
Do
time, but they've learned
is there anything in common?
disasters random. Hurricanes, uh, plagues, some magical, some not so much. One memorial instance, someone had let set a barrel of mead for too long, and through a random, completely unbelievable system of events, I'll knock something over, knock something else over, knock the barrel down. And this wasn't just your average mead. This one had a high alcohol content. I also managed to burn the entire city to the ground. So about 100 years into those, you can't. There is one and only one exception. It's called Tower City. It is very far to the north, and nobody understands why. But that is the one area where it is safe to have a population of over 200.
Is there anything in the book that states its current or relative population at this time?
It's the biggest city on the continent that used to be Tortal. It has almost a population of 10,000. It is the one spot where there are more people,
Wow.
and it is completely open. It is considered a sanctuary, a sacred space. Um, every race,
Interesting.
every life form is given permission to enter and live. It works kind of on uh, barter slash trade system. Gold's really not a thing. There's enough land to support that population. And they get, people that come to be farmers or to be holsters or to be animal handlers or to be farmers or to raise cattle, um, for that protection.
Hmm.
You also know that seafaring has almost gone down to nothing. After the cataclysm, the seas are 30 times as treacherous as they had been in the past, between giant sea monsters, unpredictable tides, unpredictable currents. Seafaring is not a thing anymore. Um, and neither, unfortunately, are airships. That technology was lost with the cataclysm. So you're basically stuck on the one single continent, and anytime a population gets too big, they're destroyed.
Something seems fishy.
You also know from your history that people believe that the Cataclysm was a fluke of magic, basically. There are two very stridently divided camps between the faithful and the freed. The faithful believe that that's when the gods died or left, and the freed believe that that's when they were liberated from the control of fate. So there are two very distinct camps. However, any camp uh, aggression or any kind of advertising or polarizing are absolutely banned from the Tower City. Anyone even speaking or showing signs of any kind of favoritism between one or the other can be and have been banned and refused admittance to come back.
Do you mean proselytizing?
Yeah, yep, that word. That's the word where you the kind of the preachy.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure. Yes.
Yeah. I don't do words so very well sometimes. So, Nightmare, you've finished
No,
the
you're
history.
fine. I just wanted to make sure that I got the right.
Yep. Yeah, you did. And Nightmare, you finished with the history book. Is there anything else that you wanted to glean out of that history? Is there anything that you want to know that hasn't been covered? That you yourself, not only your character, but you as a player would like to know. This is a fantastic time to ask it. You have a history book right in front of you.
No, but I want to turn to the assistant and ask if I could borrow this book for a little bit.
The assistant nods and
All right.
says, "Yes, anything you would like." She hears a commotion, and you both hear a commotion as one of the other servants come in and starts to ask your servant, whose name is Marie, ask them if a couple of questions. Marie's attention is turned away from you, and you probably have a 3-minute window. Keep in mind, you notice this room is colder by 10 degrees than any other room that you've come across in the house so far. You have 3 minutes. What do you want to do with them?
I don't even know. Oh shit.
This is the only time I will let you metagame because I could not cover up that.
This.
That.
I want to start looking
It's a
around
staircase.
back. I want to start looking around here. I want to look for any like loose books or anything that could be hidden behind a book.
Okay, give me an investigation check for that bookshelf, please.
That's a 12.
I mean, she only gave you like hints.
And you're very thorough. It takes you about a minute. You have 2 minutes remaining. There's nothing on that bookshelf suggesting anything other than books.
How long would it take to pray to my god?
No time. That's in your head. So that'll be a religion check, please.
Oh, come on. Please, please do not be absolutely shitty.
So, what we have here is what I'd like to call a DM conundrum. Do I give it? Do I make you work for it? What are you talking about? What's in your head? What do you pray for?
A little bit of insight, a little bit of like a slight bonus to or a slight little nudge towards trying to find any secrets in this room.
All right, I'm going to make you roll for it. Give me an insight check with advantage.
Insight, that's a 17.
You're a smart dragonborn. You know the switch is always at the desk.
Gonna waddle my way over here.
The maid's attention is Marie's attention is still with the other maid. You are free and clear.
I'm gonna hit the switch.
Yeah, gotta find one first.
Okay, I'm gonna look around for one.
All right, investigation on the desk, please, and the surrounding
With
area.
advantage. With advantage. Or am I fixing to have to roll that d20?
I had sugary sweets that weren't sugar. You get the advantage. As you quickly look over the desk, uh, you notice a couple of odd things. Okay, so I'm gonna move your character out of the way just so I can see the top of my desk here. Zoom, 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 zoom,
Okay.
zoom. I love these intricate maps. All right, so on the desk, you see 3 jars. Okay, the jars are unmovable. You can't move them. It looks like they're made to be part of the desk. However, on the other side of the desk, you see a small sand dipper. It looks like the dipper can go in, retrieve sand out of the 3 jugs, the 3 little jars. It could also pour sand into them.
So there's no switch.
You can tell under the jars that there is an inlay.
What if they have to be filled up to the exact same amount? Is there anything else on the desk that could give me a hint? Anything else on or around it?
That you could tell from notice there, it looks like there's a blot board, there's a pen and quill case, a wooden one, a very nice one. It's also divided up into 3 sections. Would you like to open the case?
Yeah.
As you open the case, it's divided into 3 sections from left to right, the way that you would read. In the first section, you have 3 quills. In the middle section, you have 7 rolls of paper. In the third section, you have 1 ink blotter.
Three, 7, 1. I don't think that would have anything to do with the jars, though. Unless I'm being a dum dum.
I can't help. I'm unconscious.
You are unconscious. And unfortunately, as you open it, you have just a couple of seconds before Marie's attention is back on you. The blotter, the desk case is open. What would you like to
I'm
do?
gonna I'm gonna shut it and try and get back over here.
Give me a stealth check.
14.
Absolutely. So you close it. It makes hardly any perceivable noise. You make it back to the couch as you go to pick up the next book. Which book do you choose?
I had one about dragons, and then the other one was which exactly? I didn't add them to my sheet since I wasn't planning on taking any.
Dragons, languages, and a children's storybook that has a dragon on the spine.
I'm gonna open the one about dragon history.
You open it and begin to read. As we go back to
Yep.
Yabrana, it's been 5 years since you found the book. 5 years since you were told it was crazy, you were bespelled, but you haven't been able to get it out of your head. What happens in those 5 years?
Did we lose her?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was loading something. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
We
now.
can.
Do you
Nope.
want me to repeat the question?
Okay, sorry. Yes, please.
Okay, so it's been 5 years since you were told you were crazy, since you were told it was all in
I
your
said
head or it
yes.
was magic. So what happens in those 5 years?
Um, I basically read through every book I can get my hands on, trying to look for something similar. But I've also been doing tests on
Okay,
everybody.
what kind of
I've
tests?
been I've been writing the name down in places, just anywhere, on a wall, on a desk, in books, in notes that I hand to people with other information on them, and nobody reacts at all. Nobody notices.
So what did you infer from your experiment?
Well, from the testing, I mean, I know I'm not crazy because I physically wrote the word down. So I know I can't be insane. Like that's why I did the tests. So I decide that I'm going to strike out on my own. I'm going to look for answers to a question that I don't even have fully formed.
Okay, how does your family react to it? How does your town, your city react to you doing something that not a lot of dwarves do?
They think I'm crazy, but they've all thought I was crazy.
So for your family, do you leave on a
Running
high
around,
note, a
reading
low note?
books, muttering. I'd say it's a high note. Like they're upset that I'm leaving, but they know that I have questions that they can't help answer. And they don't want to assume, my family doesn't want to assume I'm insane, even if everybody else does.
So they're supportive but confused. Is that a good way to
Yes,
put it?
exactly. Yes. They
All right.
support my endeavor, but they have no idea why I'm doing it.
Okay, so we're gonna give you your character a couple of items right now. Okay.
Okay.
So of course this is all recorded, so you can absolutely go back and double check this later and put these down. But make sure you're on it. So you have a sending stone to your parents. It has been
Okay.
beyond charged. It will never lose its charge. You always have a way to call home. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter how far you're away. It probably cost them their entire inheritance to make it, but they sent you off and you have a sending stone to your parents. You can talk to them whenever you want to.
Okay.
And vice versa. They can always call you. Sometimes at the most inopportune time, but they can. Um, they don't do it much. They trust that you're okay. They contact you once every, let's say, every new moon. They decide to go
Okay.
outside, get a little unlighted air, and call and
Just to
check
make
on
sure
their
you're not
wayward daughter.
dead.
And just to touch base and check and make sure you're okay. So you have that.
Sounds good.
Um, you also have an extremely small, very very small bag of holding. It's good for very small things, nothing bigger than a coin. But you have a place to put papers, coins, like small folded notes, gems, components. Anything that is smaller than a coin can fit into this bag.
Okay. So I can have an unlimited number of things smaller than a coin in this bag, but nothing
Correct.
bigger than the size of a coin. Okay.
Correct. It's, you know, bags of holding are extremely rare, especially now that magic's a little wonky. They can no longer be made. They either have to be handed down or stolen or
Nice.
acquired in other means. But nobody can sense it. Nobody knows that you have it. That's just something that you have for your person. And then you get to take
Awesome.
one more item from your home, and I'm going to let you choose that item. What do you take? And you don't have to answer it right now. This could be something that you could think of a couple days and bring it up next session, or you can answer now if you'd like. But you have one more item from your home.
I know this is going to sound silly, but it's going to be a journal that I made. And it's going to have, like, some of the pages are literally just Mary R's name all over the entire page. And some are notes about the studies I did, the people that I tried it on, the experience that I had with the elder. It's all in there. Everything, all my whole journey over all of the years that I've been gone. It's all there in very small, tiny print because I don't want to have to buy a new book.
Does that include the dream you had where you were chosen?
It's got everything in it.
Okay. Good to know. What does this journal look like?
It's a largest book. It's got a hold on, my thing's not. There we go. It's got our family crest on the outside. It's bound in green and black leather, and it's got like like those fine ruled notebooks.
Yeah.
It's even finer. Like, it's very, very small lines. And I train myself to write very small, almost to the point where nobody else can read it, except for on the pages where I wrote the name. I wrote it all like a crazy person would, just all haphazard and stuff. And like, why people thought I was crazy because I was sitting there writing in a book, but no words were being written down.
Yeah, I could see how that would have added to your mystique. For sure. All right. So there we are. I'll take it. So that's where you're dreaming at right now. Namriel, Marie, after some time of you reading the beginning of the dragon book, she is replaced by another maid, as the one that you were talking to. She introduces herself as Anne and stands at the door again. So it does look like that they are taking shifts. As you read through the dragon book, a good 12 hours has passed. It basically covers the history of dragons up to uh, a certain point, but it is one of the most driest, technical, unbelievably wordy book that you've ever laid your poor sorry eyes on. There are a lot of thuses and perhapses and conjectures and theories. And you, as a dragonborn, know it's all utter bullshit.
Does anything in the book catch my eye besides all the bullshit?
There is one section that caught your interest because it talked of progenitors. However,
Okay.
the thought line is so convoluted. So the book details progenitors as such. If and there ever were such a thing as progenitors, then it throws the entire concept of dragon and dragonborn out the window, because why would somebody pollute their own bloodline and make a dragon into something not a dragon? It goes on to berate the even idea of progenitors as mere fiction, and literally says in the text, if anybody ever believes in this nonsense, they are literally the dumbest people on the face of the planet.
As
Roll a
I'm
Constitution
reading
saving throw
that,
for your migraine.
that's a 22.
Unbelievably,
Fuck that migraine.
you trudge your way all the way through the most retarded book. I'm sorry, wrong word. The most inept book you have ever read. What do you do?
As I'm rereading the part about the progenitors and how much bullshit it is, I don't realize how pissed off that I got, and Firebolt as well as Subtle Spell go off at the same time and incinerate the book.
Roll me it's a cantrip. No D20 spell needed.
It's a cantrip.
Oh yeah, no, it goes off without a hitch. 1 minute you're sitting there reading a book, talons clasped desperately into the intricate leather binding. As the next second it goes poof, in a puff of smoke. And your servant definitely sees it as the ash in your hands
Oh,
collect.
shit. I didn't mean to do that. I was just a certain part of it that made me a little bit mad.
Would you like to do a perception check to see if she's upset in any way? Because she's a very good servant. She has a very calm outer face.
I can't realize shit.
As far as you can tell, they're very calm. And as they look at your hands, they retrieve a handkerchief out of their pocket. They walk over to you and hand it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll have a cleaning crew in here shortly. Would you like to have something to eat? You've been in here for a very long time.
No. I'm good for right now.
Understandable. Anne holds out her hand for the handkerchief that you've now got covered in dust and ash.
I hand it to her.
She takes the dirty handkerchief, she folds it up very carefully and puts it in her pocket and returns to her position at the door. You have 2 books remaining, one on languages and the children's book with the dragon on the spine.
I'm gonna take the language book because it's gonna cover different languages that I'll probably need to know at some point. And I'm gonna take the history book as well. And then I'm just gonna quickly glance through the children's book with the dragon on it.
Okay.
Just take a peek, see what it's about.
A simple inspection on the book, since you're not, deep reading it or anything. You're just kind of flipping through the pages.
What do you need me to do?
An inspection check, please. Investigation.
And
I'm sorry. Yeah, investigation.
15.
You roll through it. A lot of them are fairy tales you already know. The one of the merkin that turns into a woman and falls in love with a prince. The one about the children who leave breadcrumbs in the forest. The one of the big bad werewolf werewolf that eats the poor little girl and her grandma and is saved by the hunter with the axe. And then you come across the fairy tale of the frostening.
Oh.
But this one's a little bit different than any of the other ones that you've read. Usually the frostening is just about this benevolent fairy that comes down and blesses people on their birthday if they have cake. This one has a darker tone to it. And instead of a fairy, they say it's evil little gnomes that come in. And then they judge whether or not you've been a good or a bad person. And if you were a bad person, you get their frosting. And if you were a good person, they leave a bit of gold under your pillow for your birthday. However, there's a running theme through it that's not about gnomes. Not even about being good or bad. But somehow in every chapter, there's a spider. It's a different spider every time. It's just very odd. Very, very odd. It's odd enough that you turn, because it's an anthology, you turn and you looked about who wrote it. And out of all of the listings of all of the chapters and all of the books in the anthology, it's the only one that says author unknown.
Interesting. All right. Well, I get up. I take note of where this room is and that something fishy is going on in here. As I leave to go put that book back, since that's the only one that I have left to put back.
All right,
After I incinerated the other one.
Anne follows you.
And then I just go to the room.
As you go to the room, you notice that you've spent the last 24 hours chilling in the library. Anne, when you get back to your room, is replaced again by Marie. So you know that they are, or I'm sorry, you can infer with, pretty good speculation that they are on a 12-hour shift to watch you. You had Marie, then you had Anne, now you have Marie again. Marie, instead of coming into the room, stands by the side. And you can notice that Yabrana is beginning to toss and turn. Whereas when you left her before, she was, perfectly rigid in a very deep sleep. Yabrana, you're coming out of your dream, your recollection, and you're coming to your memory of the choosing. And as you wake up, or as you're waking up, you hear a voice.
Uh-oh.
And the voice says, of all the people that remember, I am very glad it's you. As you begin to awaken.
It's been 24 hours?
Yeah.
I just spent the past 24 hours reading. Wake your ass up.
Just making sure.
No, that's about right. That history book and the dragon book, I mean, those Yeah, 12-hour shifts, and that's about right. That's 4 books in
Okay,
24
perfect.
hours.
I just making
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I walk up.
That's pretty
Actually,
good.
no. I just use my message cantrip, and I glance at Arya and say, there's a room connected to the library, and I feel like there's something going on in there. Like something
All right.
something isn't right in there. I
First,
feel
Wicked.
like
Yeah,
Go
first,
ahead.
very very important. Wicked, do you consent to the message spell? I know that you're just waking up, but you still have to consent.
Yes, but I'm gonna say before he says anything, coffee. Coffee. Dear God, coffee.
You said who was outside right now, Marie?
Yeah, it's Marie again.
Um, I poke my head out the door and I'm like, "Hey, Marie, could you get like 4 cups of decently strong coffee, please,
I
or
can
have someone get some?"
I can absolutely do that. She reaches into her
And
pocket.
my rats.
Say what?
And my rat.
Oh, and Yabrana's rat.
We were wondering about that. Cook actually has him in the kitchen. She's been feeding him treats like all morning.
Oh,
Absolutely.
let's just say I forcefully sat up when she said in the kitchen.
You do forcefully sit when you say in the kitchen, and then you relax when you hear them say that Cook has been giving the weird rat treats.
Don't worry, they're not cooking him.
Yeah, I couldn't let him die in that brothel. He's just a baby.
Yeah, fuck that baby.
Don't you dare. Nicodemus is a sweetie. You leave him alone.
I
A
don't
maid,
care.
a maid that you haven't met yet comes at the ringing of the bell as Marie tells them exactly what is needed. Requests 4 decently good cups of coffee and looks over and asks, "Would you like breakfast items? Food?"
Everything you got. Just keep it coming.
That's for her. I don't really feel like eating right now.
Marie nods, passes the message on to the other servant, who goes and presumably grabs the stuff. Marie nods and stands back beside the door, giving you guys the semblance of privacy.
And that's why I have the message spell active. Alright, now that that's sorted out, do you want to hear about the room or not?
Yes, tell me everything.
Okay, so some fishy shit's going on in there. I had a really weird feeling that I don't know, just something was hiding in there. And when I got to looking
Hiding.
around, like there was something hidden almost. I got
Okay.
I got to looking
Keep going.
around and there are 3 immovable jars, all with what did you call it, DM?
It
What did
looks
you call that piece that was under them?
like a an inlay.
There's 3 immovable jars,
Okay.
all which have an inlay beneath them.
Yeah.
And then there was a box that just had there was 3 quills, 7 rolls of paper, and then
Yeah.
one ink file.
Well, an ink blotter, but same difference.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
about to say.
what was in the jars?
Uh,
The jars were empty,
the jars were empty, but there
but
was a thing that could pull sand from the jars or put sand into them.
Okay, did we do any experiments?
I didn't have enough time.
Okay.
By the time I found it, the lady was standing back at the door.
All right. So observations, but no experimentation. Move, Tiberius, move. You're in my spot, you little butt. Thank you.
I don't know, just something don't seem right.
And you said this was in the library?
There is a lounge area connected to the library, and that's where this was.
Okay.
I can take you to it if you'd like.
Yes, I would like to see this area.
Alright, you go ahead and eat, and then we'll go take a look at it because it was weird.
Yeah, I'm going to spend about 20 minutes eating as much as I possibly can.
The maid comes back and they have another, it looks like a tea tray, but it is loaded for bear with breakfast food. There are biscuits and gravy. There's country ham slices. There are sausage rolls. There are turnip rolls. There are apple rolls. And in the center of said cart is a now cloaked Nicodemus. Someone had made them
Aww.
a little cloak complete with hood and slits for their ears. It is
Oh my god,
purple
so cute.
with white sparkles, and it looks amazingly adorable. And there's also the very, very strong scent of very, very strong coffee.
Awesome. I'm going to
How many cups? Is
pretty
it
much.
4?
There's a carafe and with 2 cups.
I'm gonna pour one and then inhale it. I'm just gonna drink it as fast as I can.
Despite the heat, it goes down just fine. You do not get burnt.
I'm going to look at the serving lady as I take the entire tray of food. And I'm going to go, you might not want to watch this.
The lady
As I
nods.
just start shoveling.
You begin to start shoveling as Nicodemus hops their way from the cart to your shoulder. And Marie just nods her head and goes, I'm a farm girl, ma'am. I'm used to farmers' appetites. If that's not enough, just let us know and we'll have them make more.
Nice. As I'm eating with one hand, I stroke Nicodemus under the chin and ask if he's gotten enough to eat and hold up a little morsel for him. See if he's still hungry.
You hold up the morsel and they just turn their head away. So they've definitely been very
Okay,
well taken
you're
care
a
of.
fat rat. Excellent. I drink the coffee straight from the carafe.
At least I had the decency to put it in a cup, and I say that shit out loud.
Absolutely you do. Marie looks completely unfazed. However, Wicked, I do want you to do me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Remember, I'm a dwarf.
I know you're a dwarf.
I think we can handle spicy and hot foods.
That's not why I'm having you roll it. Just roll it for me, please.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure.
So as you go to turn the carafe up
Oh,
to
nice.
drink, you manage not to spill it everywhere as you pour the perfect stream and you gobble it down. The carafe is now empty. You have a pretty good caffeine hit as you continue to eat, and surprisingly, even though you're cramming food into your mouth, you are not making a mess. It all goes in and nothing escapes your grasp. And on that note, that is where we have to end it tonight, guys.
Nice.
Damn.
No.
Yeah, I know, but we had a full 2 hours tonight, which is really good for our stream time. Normally we only get
I'm
an
ready
hour
for
and a half.
level 5.
Please do make sure that you guys know that you guys do have a DM inspiration thanks to Wicked in real life bribing me with sugar-free brownies that were fucking amazing. Are there any left?
Yeah, there's a half a pan in there, and
Ugh.
there's still some pot roast left too.
Oh, good. I'm gonna go get me a snack, and then I am going to sleep here soon. Thoughts, comments, criticisms, concerns,
Make
or
sure I'm up in the
compliments?
morning.
I will about tonight's session.
I had fun.
It was great.
I had
Okay.
fun.
I'm ready
I-
for level 5
Yep.
because I have some
I
shit
hate
I'm
that I
fixing
wasn't
to
in the room
do.
I know
to see the book because
the
I have knowledge in my wandering.
the one that got burnt to a crisp.
No, that's the
No,
dragon book.
the frosting.
Yeah,
the frosting
the one
book.
that had the story of the frosting.
Very true. Yeah, that's
Well, I
something
remember where it is, so I'll just show it to you. Next session.
and that's perfectly fine. Namriel, you will be able to have also a flashback of your past, but it probably won't be until you're like incapacitated. But I will allow you.
With any luck, that won't happen soon.
But I will let you do the same thing that I let Wicked do, is to choose an item from your past to bring with you. So if you'd like to think over that in the next coming weeks, or
Oh, I already know exactly. What it's gonna be.
Okay, well that's good.
Because, long story short, some parts of the Sun Dragon family were involved in the bluegrass business.
And I love that tie-in, and I absolutely will allow it.
So, what I'm going to have brought down with me, because it would have been passed down, it would have been made, but what I want it to be is a bag of holding, but not like a regular one, like one that the Sun Dragon family had like made specifically for them that can store more than a normal bag, but like there's still size restrictions.
That's absolutely fine.
So sun dragons could carry their hordes with them as long as they're not like the size of fucking houses.
Yeah, we got to talk about what your horde specialty is. By the way, we'll touch base.
Oh
on that
yeah,
next episode, because you're
but we'll deal with that
so
later.
So you're gonna have a horde.
I'm a dragon, not a dragonborn.
So, also to clear up a couple things from last week before we go, and we are going to do this on here if I can get my phone to stop being stupid. Ciro's dad was a pirate, a very successful pirate, and he had a birthday. And
oh yeah.
So Wicked, I want you to roll me a D100.
I was wondering if we get to do it
for Ciro's dad. Let's see if Ciro's dad was a victim of the frosting.
2 seconds.
Yeah, because you got to log back in. I'm so sorry.
Okay, what?
No, you're fine. I just figured we didn't hit it, so I was like,
DM.
Yes.
What role means they are a part of the frosting? Like above or below which numbers?
So I can't tell you guys that. All I can tell you is the outcome, because the frosting is more than just.
And she'll probably change the requirements. as we go. All right. Come on.
Can I use my DM inspiration to try and help make this happen?
It's a 68.
So, Ciro, after everything that they've gone through to outshine their father, after just having the slightest slimmer glimmer of hope that he would actually retire, stop being a pirate so he
Oh
can take on
shit.
the mantle. Ciro's father wakes up with two very tiny garnet pinpricks on the tips of his index finger. Ciro, in a fit of rage, decides he has to do something about that. And we'll get back to him later. Cole. Wow. Cole. Let's see what happens to old Cole. He doesn't want the frosting. He just wants to die a happy old man. And he gets his wish. His daughter, despite having put the birthday cake under his bed to,
That wouldn't have helped anyway. Damn.
Hold on. Damn calculator.
That's 43.
Yeah, no. And it doesn't change it. Despite his daughter doing her best and slipping this small cake under the bed, Cole wakes up the next day kind of glad. He didn't really want to live forever. He didn't want to outlive his kids. He's old, he's tired, he's crotchety, he's ready to go. And he doesn't think he's going to have another birthday. So an old man gets up and smirks as he continues on his day. And we'll hear more about Ciro and his dad at a later date. But that rolls up everything. And we've gone over yet again because I can't keep my mouth shut. But that is where we're going to end it tonight, guys. Anything else before we go?
No.
Nope.
All right, wonderful.
That's it.
That's going to end our sesh, and we're going to see ya next Sunday. You guys have a good night. Bye, viewer. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.